Hello again and welcome to a new class, class number 195. 195. The tall, I'm taller than Marta. Yes, Marta's shorter than I am. However, Pau Gasol is taller than me. So of the three, Gasol is the tallest. I'm the second tallest, and Marta is the shortest. Sorry, Marta. All right. Now, I weigh 90 kilos. Marta, how much do you weigh? She weighs 51 kilos. Oh, you need to gain weight. So I weigh more than she does. But Pau Gasol weighs more than I do. So Pau Gasol weighs the most. Marta weighs the least. He weighs the most. Me, I'm in the middle. She weighs the least. He weighs the most. Yes, he's the tallest and he's the heaviest. But he's not fat. Yeah. Yes. He's not fat. I think Marta is thin. Pau Gasol is relatively thin. I think I'm the fattest. I'm the fattest. Marta is the thinnest of the three. All right, in cities, for example, which city is bigger, Rome or Paris? Well, Paris is bigger than Rome. But of the three, Rome, Paris, and Shanghai, which city is the biggest? Shanghai is the biggest. What's the tallest mountain in the world? Mount Everest. And Monte Everest. Mount Everest is the tallest mountain in the world. What's the tallest mountain in the United States? Mount McKinley is the tallest mountain in the United States. Is it taller than El Teide in Tenerife? Yes, it is. It's a little taller than El Teide. What's the tallest building in the world? The tallest building in the world is the building in Dubai. I don't know. I don't remember the name. What's the tallest building in the United States? The tallest building in the United States is the Tower of the Americas in Manhattan. And what's the second tallest building? The second tallest is the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower in Chicago. Oh, what's the third tallest? The third tallest is the Empire State Building in Manhattan. And what's the fourth tallest? I'm not sure. I think the fourth tallest is the Hancock Building in Chicago. What's the biggest state in the United States? Well, it depends. What? It depends. Yeah. What does it depend on? Well, population or area? Population. California is the biggest state in population. And what's the biggest state in area? Alaska is the biggest state in area. But, hey, if you remove the ice, Texas is the biggest state, okay? Yes, it was a trauma. Alaska became a state in 1959 when I was 7 years old. And I remember when I was 7, the trauma in Texas when Alaska became a state, because Texas wasn't the biggest state anymore. But everybody in Texas said, yes, but Alaska's ice. Remove the ice. Derritamos. Let's fundamos el hielo. And Texas is bigger. It's not true. Alaska is the biggest state. What's the biggest country in the world? In area? Russia is the biggest country in the world. What's the biggest country in the world in population? The biggest country in the world in population for the moment is China. But India is catching up. India is catching up. All right. What's the shortest river in Spain? Oh, I don't know. What's the shortest important river in Spain? Probably the shortest important river is the Miño. Maybe the Júcar. No, the Segura. But I don't know. Maybe the shortest important river is the Segura. Or maybe it's the Miño. I don't know. That's homework for you. What's the longest river in Spain? The longest river in Spain is the Ebro. No, it's not. It's the Tagus. No, it's the Ebro. No, it's not. The Tagus, El Tajo. The Tagus is the longest river in Spain. No. The Ebro is the longest river in Spain. The Tagus is the longest river in the Iberian Peninsula, because perhaps 20% or 15% of the Tagus is in Portugal. So in Spain, the Ebro is longer than the Tagus. But in the peninsula, in the Iberian Peninsula, the Tagus is longer than the Ebro. So the Ebro is the longest river in Spain only. Okay. And what's the tallest mountain in Spain? Well, the tallest mountain in Spain is the El Teide in Tenerife. Yes, but what's the tallest mountain in peninsular Spain? I think La Veleta in Granada, or the Mulhacén, is the tallest mountain in Spain. What's the tallest mountain in Aragon? I don't know. A mountain in the Pyrenees. Also El Moncayo. But there's mountains in the Pyrenees are taller than the Moncayo. What's the richest country in the world? Well, it depends. Per capita, I think the richest country in the world is Luxembourg. Yeah, per capita. But the richest country in the world is the United States in gross domestic product, in PIB, Producto Interno Bruto, GDP. What's the richest country in Europe? Probably the richest country in Europe is Germany. Well, again, per capita, no. But the richest country is Germany. What's the richest province in Spain? Oh, that's interesting. The richest province in Spain could be Guipúzcoa. It could be Navarre. It could, well, Navarre is a region. It could be Madrid, maybe Barcelona. The richest province in Spain. What's the poorest province in Spain? The poorest province in Spain, I think, is Cádiz. In income, in GDP per capita. GDP is PIB, Producto Interno Bruto, gross domestic product. Per capita, I think, is Cádiz. And what's the second poorest? The second poorest is Jaén. A pesar de producir un 20% de todo el aceite de oliva del mundo en Jaén, it's the second poorest province. Algo raro pasa. And what's the most populated province in Spain? The most populated province in Spain, is the Community of Madrid. But excuse me, the Community of Madrid is not a province. Yeah, okay. But it's in comparative terms. What's the least populated? The least populated, Soria, is the least populated province in Spain. How many people are there in Soria? I don't know, 95,000? I think there are less than 100,000. What's the second least populated province in Spain? The second least populated province is Teruel. Ah, okay. What's the most beautiful village in Spain? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. The most beautiful village in Spain maybe is Albarracín in Teruel. Maybe it's La Alberca in Salamanca. Maybe it's Sos de Rey Católico in Zaragoza. Maybe it's Santillana del Mar in Cantabria. The most beautiful, but there are many. There are 200 candidates for the most beautiful village in Spain. And what's the longest river in the world? En español se dice, ¿cuál es el río más largo del mundo en este caso? En inglés es, ¿qué es el río? What, no which. Si fuera entre dos, he dicho muchas veces, cuando delimitas la selección, ya es which. Which river is longer, the Ebro or the Tagus? Which river is longer, the Nile or the Amazon? Well, what's the longest river in the world? Well, according to some experts, the Amazon is the longest river in the world. And according to other experts, the Nile is the longest. And why the debate? The king? Debate. What does debate mean? Debate. Yeah, why the debate? Well, because some people are not clear on the measurements and on the source of the Amazon. So, I don't know. What is the biggest problem teaching English? The biggest problem teaching English is getting my students to practice. That's the biggest problem. English is some aspects, some elements of English are easy, other elements are less easy, but that's not the problem. The problem is practicing and practicing and practicing. Querer es poder, pero aplicar ese adagio querer es poder. Yeah. We say in English, decimos en inglés, we say in English, practice makes perfect. El practicar hace la perfección. It's true, practice makes perfect, but you have to practice. What's the smallest country in the world? The smallest country in the world is the Vatican. Oh. What's the smallest province in Spain in area? Well, in population, the smallest is Soria. Good. What's the smallest in area? The smallest province in Spain in area is Guipúzcoa. Oh. And Melilla? Well, Melilla is not a province. It's an autonomous city. Oh. What's the biggest state in the United States? I told you, it's Alaska. No, in population. I told you. Ya te lo dije, I told you. It's California. Oh. What's the second biggest state in population? Texas. What's the third biggest state? New York. What's the most beautiful state? That's difficult. Maybe Alaska. Maybe Hawaii. Maybe Vermont. Maybe Maine. It depends on your definition of beauty. Every state is beautiful. Every province in Spain is beautiful. Different types of beauty. Traveling in the Mancha, going from Campo de Criptana to Tomelloso. It's flat like this table. It's beautiful. But driving from Potes to Panes, Potes in Cantabria to Panes in Asturias, through the Picos, it's beautiful. Totally different from the Mancha, but both are beautiful. So, well, I don't know. What's the most interesting city in Spain? Oh, that's an idea. Maybe Toledo is the most interesting. Maybe Salamanca is the most interesting city. Maybe Barcelona is the most interesting. Maybe Madrid is the most interesting. All of them. Maybe Granada. Maybe Seville. Wow. Sevilla es una maravilla. Que sí, Marta. Yeah. So there are a lot of very interesting cities. Very interesting. Who's the fastest runner in the world? Now I don't know. But until 2 years ago, Usain Bolt was the fastest sprinter in the world, but not necessarily the fastest runner in middle distance or long distance. Yes. And what is the newest country in the world? I don't know. I think the newest country in the world is the South Sudan. You know, recently, about 10 years ago, the new country is Sudan. Maybe it's the South Sudan. I don't know. And I don't remember the name of that country. What is the most recent state in the United States? Well, the most recent state is Hawaii. Hawaii became a state in 1959. Alaska became a state in 1959, but several months before Hawaii. Was Barack Obama born in Hawaii? Yes, he was. And was Arizona a state 100 years ago? Yes, it was. It's the third newest state. It became a state in 1912. All right. Who's the oldest person in this classroom? Well, there are only two people, Marta and me. And I'm older than Marta. So I'm the oldest person in this room. Who's the oldest person in the world? I don't know. Probably somebody who's 108, 110 years old. I remember many years ago, my uncle showed me a photograph of a newspaper, and it showed a picture of a woman smoking a cigarette from the Caucasus in Russia. And it said she's 133 years old. She didn't look a day younger than 105. It was incredible. And she was with her son. Her son looked about 60, strong. And it said he was 106. Okay. And she was smoking a cigarette. Now, I don't necessarily believe the caption. Caption, escrito caption? Caption? What does caption mean? Excuse me? What does caption mean? Caption means pie de foto. Caption, escrito, caption is pie de foto. It said she was 133 and he was 106. And my grandfather said, my uncle said, she doesn't look a day younger than 105. All right. But in any case, so, which book is thicker? Which book is thicker? This one or this one? The translation booklet or the vocabulary? Which book is thicker? This one is thicker. Of the three, which book is the thickest? The main book, the student's manual, is the thickest of the three, I think. It's pretty close. Nope. This is the thickest. Toma. I didn't know that. Look. This book is thicker than this one. So of the three, the translation booklet, the one in the middle, is the thickest. This one is the thinnest. Thick and thin. Thick and thin. Thick means grueso, thin, en este caso fino. Thin también es delgado. Thin también es poco espeso. Es una crema de verdura poco espesa, es muy líquida. It's very thin. Añades un poco de harina para espesar, to thicken it, to make it thicker. So, I've lost my place, Marta. I don't know where we are. I'll find it after the class. Pero había una lista aquí. ¿Dónde estaba? I think I was in page 205. Page 205, right? I think. Paul Eisenbach, 200. Yes, 205 and 206. Que hay mucho. Okay. What's the dirtiest city in Spain? I don't know. Many years ago, maybe Bilbao or Avilés were the dirtiest cities in Spain because of the factories. What's the cleanest city in Spain? I don't know. The cleanest city in Spain maybe is San Sebastián. I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. What's the best team in the NBA? The best team in the NBA now maybe is the San Antonio Spurs. I don't know. This year we didn't have the NBA. The best team was, because now we're in October, September, the best team was maybe the Toronto Raptors. Maybe they were the best team. Or maybe the best team was the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't remember. What's the easiest language in the world? The easiest language in the world to learn? That's a good question. I don't know. Every language has some difficult things and some very easy things. But I think English is one of the easiest languages in the world. Major languages. I'm not talking about small languages in the south of India or in the island of Sri Lanka. No, I'm talking about major, principales idiomas del mundo. Russian, Japanese, Chinese, Polish, English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. I don't know. That's a very interesting question. For me, it's a debate between two, Spanish and English, as the easiest languages to learn. The difficulty of Spanish is well, there's a lot of problems, but English has other problems, completely different problems. But I think those two, I think English and Spanish are easier than French, Italian, German, Russian, Polish, Japanese, Chinese, Arabic, Portuguese. I think English and Spanish are the easiest languages to learn dentro de lo difícil. Within what is difficult, all languages are difficult, very difficult to learn well. But I think English and Spanish are the least difficult to learn well. All right. What's the cheapest car in the world? I don't know. I don't know. What's the most expensive car in the world? I think a Rolls Royce or a Bugatti, but I think a Rolls Royce or Bentley is the most expensive car in the world. Richard, who's the best English teacher in the world? Probably Lucy. Who's Lucy? She's a teacher on our team. I mean, I have 400 teachers. I'm not the best. Maybe for television, but in the classroom, I'm not the best. Lucy maybe is the best teacher. Maybe Sharina is the best teacher. Yeah. Maybe Fitz is the best teacher in the classroom. But sin duda alguna, definitely I'm not the best in the classroom. I'm not the best. Yes. Easiest, smallest, biggest, the shortest, siempre con the delante, the shortest, the thickest, the oldest. Yes. Who's the oldest person in this company? I am. Yeah. We have one teacher, Pat, who maybe is older. No, I think I'm the oldest person in this company. Yeah. Who's the most energetic? I am. No, others. The simplest, the most complicated. What's the most complicated aspect of the language to teach? The most complicated to teach, had better. The most complicated to learn are phrasal verbs. Well, the most complicated to master are phrasal verbs. The most complicated to teach is had better. It's one, had better. Más vale que lo hagas, porque si no, you had better. Eso lo veremos más adelante, mucho más adelante. It's the most complicated to teach. Who are the most complicated people in Europe? The Spanish people are the most complicated in Europe, right? Maybe the German people. The German people are very hard-headed. This way is the right way to go. Maybe. Yes, it's this way. German engineering. Spanish is flexibility. Maybe tomorrow. So the most complicated people in Europe, I don't know. People in general are complicated. The Americans, the Canadians, the Australians, the Japanese, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the Italians. And they're very interesting people. Everybody is interesting. Who's the most complicated people in Europe? I don't know. I have no idea. Los Estonios. Okay, the Estonians. Or maybe los Andorranos. Okay, they live in Andorra. Why not? Or maybe the people who live in the Vatican. They're very religious. So maybe they're the most complicated. I don't know. Who's the most interesting people in Europe? Everybody's interesting. Everybody. The Germans are very interesting. The Dutch. The Belgians. Who's the most boring people in Europe? The most boring? I don't know. I mean, in your opinion, who are the most boring people in Europe? Who are the tallest people in Europe? I think the tallest people in Europe are the Dutch, los holandeses. I think the average height of the Dutch is number one in Europe. I think they're the tallest. What's the biggest Indian tribe in the United States? The biggest Indian tribe in the United States, I think, is the Cherokee Indian tribe. All right. And what's the most dangerous Indian tribe? The Comanches. Now, no. They were the most savage, maybe, Indian tribe. What's the biggest country in South America, or in Latin America? Well, in population, Brazil is the biggest country in Latin America, and in area too. Brazil is the biggest. Well, what's the biggest Spanish-speaking country? Well, in population, the biggest is Mexico. How many people are there? 130 million. What's the second biggest? The second biggest is Colombia. What's the third biggest? The third biggest is Spain. What's the fourth biggest? The fourth biggest is Argentina. What's the fifth biggest? The fifth biggest is the United States. It's Spanish-speaking people, 43 million. What's the smallest country, Spanish-speaking country in the world in population? Uruguay, 3,4 millones. It's Uruguay is the smallest. Okay, finally, I'm finished for today. Have a good one and see you tomorrow.